Hello everyone and welcome to the pitskill.io Porsche Cup sponsored by SimQuips, and we are here in the desert, in inverted commas, of California, here at the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, round 3 of the series, and the heavens have opened and we are seeing what is a rare event, a wet Laguna Seca. So going to be interesting to see how these drivers get on here. And as our first flying laps get underway in qualifying, apologies for that, I have no idea what that audio was, but very weird from ACC that. Get the crap out of me. Right, we're going to have a look at the standings for the championship. So we have got Jeremy Leffelet leading the championship on 100 points. Something tells me this is out of date. It needs refreshing. Wait, no, it's not. No, it's not. Because, of course, our last round out at Spa did not count due to it being red flagged before the end of the session. So, Jeremy Leffelet still leads the way on 100 points. He's followed by Rhys Tattersall on 90 and Arnaud Rogerie P3 on 82 points. So things are where we left them. And at the moment, it is Busso, Mr. Bulldozer himself, who finds himself on the top of the timings at the moment, with just under 11 minutes remaining in this session. And it's a tricky, slippy track at the best of times, and it's going to be all about learning the conditions during the session. We do have 33 drivers in the session at the moment, all out on track by the looks of things, but 3 drivers who are in the pits. So with this rain being quite heavy, I don't suspect they'll be drying up the track, but maybe just getting a slightly grippier line will be improving the conditions somewhat as the session goes on, but that remains to be seen. As Johan Leff tops the timing, has just been rebeaten to that top spot by Busso, and now Balazs Fahir, cartoon man himself, getting to the top of the timings. And swiftly overtaken by Matthew Parry, who finds himself in the sandy runoff. Perfect sand castle making conditions out there, I should say. Andy Hudson maybe slightly beating me to that joke. We'll see who does find themselves sitting out in the sand-making sandcastles before the session is out. Yet to see a lap from our reigning champion, Rhys Tattersall, who comes around the final corner now. He comes across the line and is good enough for P5 at the moment. And Tattersall, the lead of the drivers that we have on the track tonight in the championship. I worded that confusingly, but essentially we do not have our P1 driver in the championship in the session today, so Rhys Tattersall, good opportunity to take first in the championship, but will need to improve on his pace a little bit. Currently 0.6 off, as we have yellow flags out for Balazs. We'll check in and see if we can find P3, who I did see earlier. We're back in with Johan Leff. who seems to be improving, has got a little bit of time they need to find over Matthew Parry to retake that top spot in the timings in this session. Just the final corner to navigate and short-ish dash to the line as he cuts the beam 0.02 of a second off of that top spot. Matthew Parry holding on to it for now. I was going to say and improving, but we do see... saw yellow flag out for Parry and... well, lap not invalidated, but not going to be improving on this lap. We must do our customary check-in with Chris Wright, our series sponsor. Currently sitting down in P12 and on an outlap at the moment. Still got a number of drivers who are yet to set a representative lap time. I say representative, lap time at all. On P28 down, struggling with these conditions. As Johan Leff has another opportunity to try and take that top spot away from Matthew Parry. He rounds the final corner. It's looking a bit better this time. Will cut the beam and goes to the top. A 1:29.832. It's just over a tenth quicker than Parry, who is coming up to the final corner himself and is on a lap that could see him retake that top spot. These two trading times here as Peltzer jumps Parry and Parry, mistake in the final corner, not going to be able to improve. And there's Matthias Peltzer who takes that second spot on the timings. We have another Rexy on the track to join the menagerie of dinosaurs. Patrick van der Kraan with the yellow Rexy. Crosses the line, improves by 1.5 seconds with a 1:30.995. Puts van der Kraan into the top 10. As Bjorn King finding some pace, currently down in P16. Crosses the line, improves up to 13th. And we'll see if Rhys Tattersall has got what it takes to get himself onto that top spot, where we usually find our reigning champion. Last season didn't lose, well actually I was going to say didn't lose many races, did lose some, but with the drop rounds managed to get himself a perfect score at the end of the season, but so far this season yet to put in a race win. So Rhys Tattersall, a little bit to prove here tonight as he goes sideways through the second to last corner. Just one corner to go. Needs to find 4.5 tenths. And, well, with an exit like that, he will not be getting that time. Improves up to 5th. But Johan Leff finding more and more time as he puts in the laps. As we will let the French driver take us around a lap of this Laguna Seca Raceway circuit. WeatherTech, the sponsors of this circuit. Definitely this race very much working with the sponsors. Certainly brought the weather. As we have Andy Hudson in the chat betting that the corkscrew will be where we see the incidents on the lap 1. I think you're being slightly optimistic there. Turn 1 is always a fixture for a bit of carnage here at Laguna Seca, especially in these wet conditions. I do hope our drivers will be very, very careful. They come through as left comes through the notorious corkscrew, bouncing all over the place, and well, I think Lef is probably not going to be too happy that we were on board for that particular route through the gravel there, as he parks up and gives us a lovely view of his car. As we just have 1.5 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. Those drivers who are crossing the line right now will have one more attempt at a flying lap. So potentially 2 more times. But now, anyone who crosses from now on, only going to get that one more shot. As the original Rexy in the pit skill takes to the final sector. Szynski was the one who started the trend, but we have plenty of the dinosaurs out there on our grid tonight. And Dias rounds the final corner, not finding as much time as Sawyer ahead. Finding a heap of time, puts himself up into P2. Solid lap. And improving still on what will be his final flyer, so it's still potential in there for Don Sawyer. And Reese Tattersall got about 5 tenths to find. I'm not sure he's got it in this lap. Gonna have to come down to his final fly, but it should be good enough for P2 as he crosses the beam, and 1:29.655, 1.5 tenths yet to find for Reese Tattersall. And we will keep a close eye on Reese's time as the clock hits 0, and any driver on the lap now will get an opportunity to finish it. There aren't many who are on a valid lap at the moment. As Kenny Crows looks to improve. As I think this lap just slipping away from Reese Tattersall. Currently down on his delta, and Kenny Crows, with a sloppy line through the corkscrew. I don't think he's going to be improving on this lap. Next up with a chance of improving is Reese Tattersall, but he's got a lot to try and find in these final 2 corners. And I think just pushing a little too hard, losing quite a bit of traction, carrying as much speed as he dares through the second to last corner, but down on his delta at the moment. Only the final corner to go. And does not optimise that exit, as Busso keeps it within the track limits. He's going to be the final driver to cross the line and try and improve on his time, and I don't think he did in the end. That's looking at do with a P8. And so we wait now for our session to reset. As we have the opportunity now to go through the starting order for tonight's race. on pole position, we have got Johan Leff. And alongside him will be our reigning champion, Reese Tattersall. And then lining up behind them are John Sawyer and Balazs Fahey, Matthias Peltzer and Cam Carter, Matthew Parry with Busso. We have got Nathan Smith-Adams, followed by Tadeusz Szynski, Patrick van der Krant and Chris Wright, Kenny Crows and Marco Lorenzon, Patrick Toth and Bjorn King, Loic Anshu and Jack Sloan, Riva Molinar and Martin Steinbeck, Gregor Michalak and Tim von Retberg, Tyler Wegner and Maya van Dijk, Bob de Eitz and Florent de Moor, Steve Goosens and Nitro, Cohen Jansman and Martin, Nikolaus Orfanos and Swalek Klinger. And finally in P23 we have got Ryu Tsukurji. And as our drivers pull away for our formation lap, final opportunity to get the feel for the conditions out there before this whole group of cars will take its first trip down to turn 1. Be the first real opportunity for them to test those brakes in these conditions, and especially with the slower speed coming into that turn 1 after the rolling start. Everyone needs to just be careful not to overshoot. It does look like we are going to have rain throughout this session. A reminder of our championship order down at the bottom of your screen right now. Or will be once it decides to load. A reminder that our championship leader Jeremy Leffelet is not on the grid tonight, so whatever happens will not be holding on to his championship lead. But again, a reminder to everyone, there are drop rounds in this championship, so it's okay to miss a couple of rounds, although everyone technically missed the spa round, so only one real drop round for all of the drivers there tonight. As we round the final sector, just one corner now to go as Johan Leff completes this formation lap. They line up 2 by 2 and get themselves all on to that start finish line. We wait for the green flag. And we are racing at Laguna Seca. It's a good start from Reese Tattersall, who's alongside Leff as they come down towards turn 1. As carries the speed through and maintains the lead in the race, and looks like everyone through cleanly in the background. There's our 2 race leaders nose to tail. We head through the first sector. They've already created a little bit of a gap back to the rest of the field, which is headed by Balazs Fehi. And we'll keep an eye on the rest of the pack as we've lost Balazs Fehi down into P7. I'm not sure what happened there. Looks like all quite sensibly through the corkscrew. So, Andy. Oh, actually, maybe I spoke too soon. No, looks like it was reasonably calm in the background. But we can have a look and see if we can see what happened to Balazs. Oh, went out wide, but it looked like he'd already had his incident before that. So, Balazs now down into P7 as Matthias Peltzer and Matthew Parry go side by side through turn 1. Peltzer out onto the sand, but managing to maintain that speed and has himself tucked right up behind Matthew Parry. As up in front they line up 2 by 2 as Johan Leff and John Sawyer and Cam Carter pair up top 4 positions. But behind Matthew Parry there is quite the train forming as all the cars all the way down to P24 are within a second of the car ahead of them. A real scrum forming behind Matthias Peltzer. Looking to the inside of Matthew Parry. And up at the front, Johan Leff has not been able to pull away from Rhys Tattersall as they come around to start the 3rd lap of this race. Johan Leff has got his mirrors filled with that Heinz Bait being liveried car of Rhys Tattersall. And, well, he's parking his nose under that rear wing. There's this pair pushing each other hard, managing to pull a little bit of a gap to the rest of the field. As it looks like Rhys just dropping a couple of wheels on the sand, and that has caused him to drop back ever so slightly from Johan Leff, relieving that pressure. And Leff can start to concentrate on just maintaining his own pace, taking his eyes away from the mirrors for a little while. As John Sawyer leads this second group, it is Matthias Peltzer who's now under pressure from Balazs Fehi as they come up the hill towards the corkscrew into the braking zone. And Peltzer cross that apex runoff at the corkscrew. That is going to compromise him as they come down through the final sector. But just managing to keep a nose ahead. But Balazs keeping Peltzer just off of the optimal racing line, not able to carry all the speed he would like through the corner. And as they come down towards start-finish right and towards the first corner, Balazs super close now. Not quite close enough to think about a lunge at this point in the race. As we've got yellow flags out for car 117, that is Steinbach. He looks to get going again. As Chris Wright looking up the inside of Marco Lorenzon. It looks like Lorenzon just getting a couple of wheels out onto the sand. Slowed him down on the run to the next corner, and Chris Wright has got himself up and ahead of Lorenzon up into P11 in this race. Seems Chris always performing slightly better. with his race pace than he necessarily does in these qualifying sessions. And so far, everyone on their best behaviour. Only seen a couple of yellow flags out there in what must be quite tricky conditions in these cup cars. Again, as I have to remind everyone, every race, no traction control on these cars. And in wet conditions like these, especially a super slippery slack like Laguna Seca, not particularly easy to keep it pointing in the right direction. And as they come around through the first sector on this fifth lap, still barely anything between our lead two cars. As Raceway continues to apply pressure on Johan Leff. Climb the hill once again towards the corkscrew. And Matthias Pelzer has got Balazs Fahir looking up his inside. Both through the corner well, but it's like Balazs Fahir who's come out marginally ahead as they run up the hill. Side by side as they head into the braking zone for the corkscrew. And Balazs Fahir with the inside line just about keeps it within the track limits as they headed through that apex curve. And Balazs Fahir up into P6 in this race, and now Matthias Pelzer has got his mirrors full of Busso. As they come down to the start-finish line again, they hit not able to pull out much of a gap. Yes, Busso looks to the inside in the braking zone for turn one, not close enough to go for a lunge. Would be optimistic in these conditions, try and throw one in. And Cam Carter currently holding on to P4 is under serious pressure from Matthew Parry. Parry, who had a little bit of an incident earlier in the race, looked like he's having a bit of an incident there as he tries to get on the throttle through the apex curb, sorry, the exit curb. And I think we've just seen a yellow flag out from Matthias Pelzer, who's now been overtaken by Busso. Oh, well, the bulldozer strikes again. As did they actually try and go three wide into the corkscrew? Nope. They remain in order. So it is Busso ahead of Smith Adams. And then Matthias Pelzer, who will not be especially happy with the conduct of our resident bulldozer. Up at the front of the field, Johan Leff still leads Rhys Tattersall by 0.4 of a second. Still nothing to choose between these two drivers in terms of pace as Leff puts a couple of wheels out onto the dirt. And looking like Johan Leff beginning to feel that pressure from Rhys Tattersall, making a couple of uncharacteristic mistakes. And has got the Heinz baked bean livery car right on his tail, and just looking like Rhys Tattersall has got that little bit more stability in the car, is able to carry the speed through these corners. And for those of you watching who might be interested in joining this action, do head on over to pitskill.io, where we have this weekly Porsche Cup series with various GT3 daily races and hourly races, so always welcoming new drivers over there, and still possible to enter this series as back markers, having to move out of the way of this battle for the lead. And Johan left not being too distracted by those back markers. We've got yellow flags out for Gregor Michalak. Oh, just a little bit too eager on the throttle there, going through the first corner, and a little bit of wheel spin, and that has lost Michalak a couple of positions. But Michalak was a new driver to Pitskill last season, and has definitely been improving in his pace, so well done to Michalak. These are not the easiest of conditions for an inexperienced driver, and holding his own out there in P20 at the moment. As Johan left, still not able to shake that car of Reese Tattersall. Doing well to hold on and continuously defend his position with just under 18 minutes of this race remaining. Left soaking up the pressure well, as Tadeusz Szynski looking up the inside of Matthias Peltzer, and they have got Chris Wright joining the battle as well. As this battling, allowing Lorenzon to pull away just ever so slightly. It is Rexy in a quip sandwich at the moment. Matthias Peltzer in the SimQuips livery, Chris Wright in that also familiar SimQuips livery. As it does look like Matthew Parry has made it past Cam Carter. So Cam Carter just running deep there as they head through the second sector, and well, in the end quite easy for Parry. Up into fourth position. And Chris Wright has made it past Tadeusz Szynski, who is miles off the track. What has happened to Rexy? Oh, gone the way of the dinosaurs. And right out into the gravel. And barely making it back onto the track before pit wall approached. As Loic and Shu battling away with Toth, manages to get that position back side by side. They come up to turn 3. Plenty of space given by both drivers, and Toth should be able to carry the speed through this fast right-hander. Nope. So Toth actually a bit braver on the inside and holds on to P15. And Shoot continuing to chase, looking up the inside of the corkscrew. Not the smartest of places to be looking up the inside in these conditions, and Shoot tucking in behind as well, von Retberg, I think that's in the background, doing well to keep it out of the wall. That was something of a yeet through the corkscrew. As we see von Retberg, well, just keeping it out of the wall. That was good recovery there, and still manages to keep it ahead of Wagner behind. as Anshu is continuing to chase Toth. It looks like Anshu just that little bit of an advantage through the first couple of corners, but not enough so that he could get by, as von Retberg losing a couple of positions. So, going deep into the first corner, and well, looks like Wegner there getting a little bit of target fixation as well. Hits the brakes slightly earlier than von Retberg, but not early enough to prevent Crows from sneaking through up into 17th position. A couple of gifted positions for Crows there, as Bjorn King under pressure from Tadeusz Szynski. Szynski recovering after that off-track excursion. And we have yellow flag for Kenny Crows. Makes it tidily through the corkscrew, but whoa, already sliding, and a jump over the sausage curb. And that is Kenny Crows off into the wet sand. And, well, got gifted 2 positions and loses out on about 5. So, no profit there for Kenny Crows. Got some work to do to move up from P22. As von Retberg has made his way past Wegner, as good deep on the brakes, manages to keep it on the racing line and stay ahead of Wegner. As it looks like Molinar has made his way past Steve Goosens round the outside at turn 1, manages to carry the speed on that wide line, and Goosens giving up the position. That was good racing there from Molinar, as just Steve Goosens has disappeared off circuit as well. Oh, not sure if maybe some hardware issues for Goosens, as he's going quite slowly at the moment. As it looks like Chris Wright is becoming the cork in the bottle. He's got Van der Kraan, King and Szynski for company. I'm not sure if there's been an incident for Wright in the 109 car. Can't see anything on my logs, but has fallen back into this pack. And now, with 3 cars behind him who would also dearly like to take P11 off of his hands, and as we head up the hill towards the corkscrew, Van der Kraan towards the inside on the blinkers. And it's Van der Kraan who goes wide there. He's getting I was going to say a bit of a slide on, getting a lot of a slide on, as King has made his way up the inside of Van der Kraan. And a little bit of a wayward moment for Van der Kraan has allowed King past, and now Tadeusz Szynski is looking for a way through. And we are ready for a little bit of dinosaur battling. And if these two slow each other down enough, the pink dinosaur of Anshu may turn up as well. the battle continues for P12. Johan Leff still got Reese Tattersall for company. These two in together all race. And so far, Leff keeping Tattersall just at arm's length. Oh, and we have got yellow flags out for Toff. We come into the corkscrew. And a little bit of a bumpy ride coming back onto the track through the corkscrew, and that has dropped off down into P20. So now we do have, we would have the three Rexies together on track, but I think Anshu's dropped back quite considerably from that pair, so we'll have to wait a little bit longer to see three dinosaurs together on track. There's Cam Carter, currently defending from Balazs Fahey, who holds the fastest lap of this race. Doing well in these tricky wet conditions. Andy Hudson asking why is it so dark at 8:45 PM? Because it's bloody wet out there. A lot of clouds. Look at that sky. I don't think these sort of weather conditions are that common in sunny California. But certainly gives us an interesting race to follow tonight, as the battle of the dinos continue. And Tadej Szynski still looking for a way past Van der Kraan. And up ahead we can see that King is pestering the back of Wright for P11. And well, all the battles are happening out on track now. Balazs Fahey super close to the back of Cam Carter, but it's Tadej Szynski who makes his way past Van der Kraan. We'll catch a replay now. Oh, Van der Kraan well wide off into the sand. And that has allowed Tadej Szynski up into P13. Oh, as we've got a couple of cars off circuit. I'm not sure what's happened there. A little bit of an unfortunate rejoin there for Orphanus, and that has caught the back of I believe that was Steinbeck. It's the number 120 car. No, sorry, that was Nitro. Just a little bit of a passenger in that incident, and well, Orphanus doing the right thing and just keeping out of the way, but unfortunate rejoin there. As Balazs Fahey continues to chase Cam Carter for P5. As Fahey still with a lot of pace at this point in the race. Got yellow flags out for Matthias Peltzer. What has happened there? As he looks to the inside of the back marker car. Oh, and there's contact. And wow, Peltzer nearly rolled it. Smith Adams. Being chased by Marco Lorenzon, who's had a good race tonight, up in P9, challenging for P8 at the moment. Solid display. A veteran of this Porsche Cup series is Lorenzon, and been improving season by season. Good to see continued improvement of some of the drivers out there. And we've got yellow flags out for Cam Carter. The corkscrew strikes again as Balazs hit to the outside. Or Cam Carter. I'm not sure if he braked for the corner, as well, Balazs here having to take to the dirt as well. And we've got Rhys Tattersall still closing down on Johan Leff. That gap did open up for a little while, but now back down to half a second again. And Johan Leff with some back marker traffic to clear just up ahead. So this race not over yet. As that marker slows right down to allow both of our leaders through. Will not be interrupting this battle for the lead of the race. As Marco Lorenzon has made his way past Smith Adams. Up the inside through turn 3 is that, I believe. And a good overtake there from Marco Lorenzon. The yellow flag's out now for Chris Wright, so we'll get a replay of that if we can. Wright, who is on his own on track, so this can only be a self-caused injury. And, well, Chris Wright off onto the dirt, and now just needs to park it up and wait for everyone to go by. Thankfully recovers himself enough to get back on the track for P14, losing some positions, but not as bad as it could have been. Balazs here with the bulldozer Busso for company, and has gone super deep into turn 1 as they come out side by side. And this, the battle for P5 in this race, as it just looked like Busso up into P5 now, has overtaken Balazs here. These two will continue to battle to the line. But talking of battling to the line, is Johan Leff, who continues to lead this race. And with just one corner to go. We'll hold any comment until he gets on the power. But Johan Leff with a lights to flag win here at Laguna Seca. Congratulations to our race winner. A well-controlled race. And he was followed within a second by Rhys Tattersall. With a late race overtake, it will be Matthew Parry who rounds out the podium ahead of John Sawyer in P4. Also holds on to that P5 after overtaking Balazs here on the final lap. Cam Carter brings it home in P7. with Marco Lorenzo a well-deserved 8th position. It was a solid race from Lorenzo. Smith Adams brings it home in P9 with Tadeusz Szynski in P10. It's Van der Kran in P11, I believe, with King in P12. Apologies, my order is jumping around quite a bit. And we've got Chris Wright managed to bring it home in P13 with Rook and Shoot in P14. And in P15 was Matthias Peltzer. And as our race winner brings it back into the pit lane, so very big well done to Johan Leff with a solid lights to flag victory, and had to contend with the pressure provided from Reese Tattersall all race. It was a much deserved win, but I do believe that with that P2 we will see Reese Tattersall taking the lead of this championship. But we will now go over and take a quick look at our race highlights, and then have a look at where that sets us with the rest the championship standings. So do not go anywhere. We'll be back, as I say, very shortly with the highlights, and then we'll have a look at the championship standings. And there we have it. After an exciting 20 laps of action, we have a new championship leader, a new and an old championship leader, as it returns back to Reese Tattersall, the champion of our last 2 seasons. And the gap back to Johan Lav in P2, just 4 points after 2 rounds. And the rest of the top 5 are John Sawyer, Balazs Fahir and Matthew Parry. Please do tune in again next week when the Pitschool.io Porsche Cup, sponsored by SimQuips, will be heading to Misano. We hope we can have plenty more exciting action on track. Until then, have a lovely rest of your evening, and do check out pitskill.io for all your daily and league racing needs. The link can be found in the description below this video. And a very good evening. Good night.